There are different ways that birthing ceremonies were done. For example, the places that births took place, inside a house or outside a dwelling, the use of midwives. There are also regionally accepted creation stories and other things like that. For example, one creation story is that they crawled out of the earth. And then there are the gods and deities, which that's kind of self-explanatory because, well, everyone had different gods and deities, mostly. There are quite a few rules to live by, and I obviously won't be going over them all, but here are a few that might be interesting and might be just regular. So, offering at holy spaces and not bringing twins near water, because the word for twins was the same as the word for salmon, and people feared that they would fuse. There are several other instances of things like this. This is just a certain example. Holy days usually had sacred clowns, and sometimes there would be a world renewal ceremony. Sacred clowns were things akin to deities, which followed in the processions but would always lag a step behind or do it imperfectly. They were celebrating the perfect imperfections in humanity. And world renewal ceremonies were ceremonies in which they would cleanse themselves of the past year. They usually involved quite a bit of conversation, a sweat lodge ceremony, fasting, and taking a dish that would cause one to vomit, which would symbolize evicting the past year from oneself. They also usually had special clothes, well-made food, and tribal dances with costumes. And healing ceremonies would usually include dances, music, songs, and prayers. These would all be sometimes young boys would go on a vision quest to find a vision or spirit that would guide them through their lives. These vision quests would usually last much longer than a single day, usually around a week, and they are taxing and very hard. They usually involve communing with nature and things like that. They can be lethal if not supervised correctly. This has killed people before when an unlicensed person has done a vision quest.
There are many different gods for Native American traditions, and they each symbolize something different. For example, hunters, lovers, and tricksters. Nah. The sacred spaces that they have is mainly just the land in general, but there are certain sites like burial grounds and medicine wheels. And Devil's Towers is an example of land that's sacred to them. Icons are used in everyday life to symbolize all sorts of things, ranging from friendship to good luck. And even though we didn't show it, there's one for death as well. So yeah. There are three main different types of afterlife for Native Americans. There is reincarnation, return as a ghost or spirit, and then afterlife worlds, one such as the Big Sands.
Many tribes believe that love is the main healer for both injury and sickness. Another common belief for life after death is that the process of life is just an upward spiral back to where we were born from, came from, and or descended from. Essentially, heaven, I think. In Native American culture, it is usually quite uncommon to give a child or a member of a Native American tribe a specific gender identity, which means if and when you name someone, whenever you say that name or connect that name to the person, you don't connect a gender to the person. You just connect the name to the person, and that it connects them with the idea of they are just living in the moment, and they're just living, breathing like everyone else. Something commonly celebrated in Native American culture and commonly celebrated by Native American tribes is the LGBT community, because due to the Native Americans' beliefs that are commonly believed generally around almost all Native American tribes, it does not matter who you love, if you identify as both genders, if you even identify with a gender identity, because all that matters in Native American culture is that you are a human being that was born from two other human beings who loved each other. You are a human being that is going to live out life, fall in love with another human being, either give birth or raise another child human being, who is then going to honor your ancestors who were human beings that fell in love and made baby human beings.
And so this also means that it doesn't matter who you married. It just didn't matter. And you could have been married to a guy before and then marry a woman, because it doesn't matter. It's just you love who you love, and you raise a child, and then you die, and it works. And also, why can't everyone else just do that?
Yes, because that's just the way of life for the Native Americans.
And it's better off because it actually makes a lot more sense than what everyone else thinks. So yeet.
A fun fact about Native American culture is that every year in Arizona, the Native American community that lives there throws a quote-unquote pride parade, but it's solely just the Native American people who live there, anyone who has come, anyone who is or has been a part of a Native American tribe. And as TJ said before in this video, the Native Americans celebrate differences, no matter what that difference is. So it's essentially their own celebration ceremony for the LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, it's not that hard to be accepting.
For our deep dive, it was about their different signs, mainly moon and sun. Their moon signs, there's one for each month, and they are supposed to speak to your shadow self, and are also kind of supposed to be a metaphor of what you can't exactly see in you, but it's there anyway. And their sun signs come from their medicine wheel, and these also apply to the southern hemisphere as well. And For each animal, it also corresponds with one of the Western astrological signs. Like for a deer, it also is a Gemini. With each animal, there's also an element, a wind, a stone/mineral, a plant, direction, season, plan, and color, and are believed to help determine your responsibility on this planet. And it's just kind of really cool in my opinion. I'm not sure about you, but it's really cool.